On our way back, Sio and I realized that we weren't actually that far from the park we used to spend a lot of time in as kids. Given that we were both in a reminiscing mood, we decided to take a slight detour to head to the park. To head. Though by the time we reached it, the sun had already set and it was starting to get darker by the minute. We agreed to do only one walk around before heading home. So it was in a cheerful mood as we started walking, pointing out all our former hangout spots and reminiscing all the moments we'd shared. Sorry, I'm pouring tea on the side, and I just had a little break because there was something I needed to do. So I'm a bit even more than usual. Seeing the sight of Sayori in full bloom almost makes me forget that she has depression. Her being so cheery and energetic is a far cry from how she's been acting recently. Maybe it's because I'm spending time with her? Or she's just trying her best to show that side of her. Either way, I wanted to be honest with how she's feeling right now. I gotta say, Sayori, you've been in a pretty good mood today. Yeah, today's been really great! Moving my microphone again. And you helped make it so... I see. You didn't have your rain clouds today? No, not really. Why? The question is do the rain clouds present specifically bad thoughts or depression? Because her depression would have an effect on her even on that day. The question is how heavy, because you can have days where your depression is weaker and therefore you can have a fairly good day. Of the rain clouds represent bad thoughts, because in that case I can see that maybe she has been so occupied she hasn't been having too much of them lately, but given what we talked about earlier, it would be surprising if she had absolutely no thoughts about, like, just some weird thought about it, if only some random thought in that direction, when we talked about how, our dreams. I just want to make sure my bundle of sunshine stays that way. I playfully ruffle Sayori's hair, causing her to giggle loudly. Okay, cut it out! She playfully pushes me away. But yeah, today's been pretty good. I do think it's partly because of you. Just doing my job, Sayori. Besides, looking after you is what I do best. And to be truthful, I kind of enjoy it. It just feels right, you know? Like this was always supposed to happen. Spending all this time around you over these last 2 weeks, it's been really fun, Sayori. I almost feel like we're kids again, and it's just us going around having a good time. I still feel hard for me to realize you've been battling with depression the entire time. Well, you helped make it manageable. Honestly, if it weren't for you, I don't know where I'd be right now. Where do you think you would be? There's really no point in thinking about it, right? We had a great childhood together. That's really all that matters. And I'm just glad we've been able to reconnect and make many more lasting memories together. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I've been meaning to ask you something, Sayori, about your rain clouds. Oh? What about them? Well, you said you had them for what, your entire life? Yeah, I guess. Have you ever thought about seeing someone about this? This long pause of silence between us. Finally, Sayori turns to me with a pained look in her eyes. I mean, I have. My initial shock quickly gives way to frustration. She's been debating on whether or not to seek help for all these years? That doesn't make any sense. Why would she want to feel like crap all the time? Well, why haven't you gone to anyone yet? I say that in my most level voice possible, though Sayori seems to pick up on the hint of frustration in my voice. I mean, surely your whole philosophy that you're meant to feel this way doesn't apply to seeking professional help. Well, not exactly. It's something else. Well, what is it? I've read up on the effects that antidepressants have on people. What I read terrified me. My worst fear is that my friends get into the... oh, well... I guess it's also my friends' worst fear that they get back and... I should phrase it more like mine. There are bad therapists out there, and we had the misfortune of going to a lot of them. Like mine. Mine was honestly one of the easy ones, and she did something that I don't even know if that's legal to. Spread information that you learned there, confidentially, to, first and foremost, my mother. Although that could maybe still be, oh, I'm concerned for your child, and other people disconnected from that. And honestly, that's a breaking of trust and everything, but it's hardly as bad as what my friends have been through. And so, honestly, I think that's something that's more to worry about than antidepressants, because I'm pretty sure there are also variant types of that, and you kind of can try to find your right one. I don't know how it is in Japan, though. They mentioned yen, so I'm assuming they're kind of playing that this is kind of in Japan. So I'm kind of wondering. I'm currently not sure whether or not there's therapy in Japan. How much therapy in Japan costs, and how much, or if it costs anything at all. Because I know that's a concern for many people, even here in Germany. When you've been diagnosed with something, you can get a therapy for free, but the initial few times, I'm pretty sure there could be a chance that you also need to pay something. I've actually read, for some reason, varying sources. I think for children it's definitely free, and when you've been diagnosed with something severer, like when they know you generally do have a mental disorder. But I think just going there for your well-being also costs money, and the question is, there are some people who simply just cannot afford it, and if you haven't been diagnosed yet, then you're kind of screwed if you probably do have a mental disorder or mental illness and can't really get the help because you lack the money. In other countries where you have to pay even when you've been diagnosed, that's even more shit. There are many reasons as to why someone might not go to therapy. Although, to be frank, I think they're going more in the psychiatric direction with the medication direction than the therapy direction. In which case, I suppose you would look more up on medication. And I'm pretty sure it is a concern for a lot of people as well, because I'm pretty sure medication in specific countries, or I'm not exactly sure here, mine were free, but I was a child. But I'm pretty sure it costs money again in other countries, and then you have to find the right one for you, and if you're treatment resistant and just really can't find anything, then that just really, really sucks. And then in these countries where you have to pay money, it's kind of even more difficult. And I'm pretty sure the side effects probably can play a role in that. Although I must say, I don't know if it's just in Germany, but when it comes to that, it's not really talked about often about the side effects of medication. I don't know if it's more in other countries. Even online, the worst I've seen is talking about treatment resistance and how it can wear off the effects and then you have to switch again because you build up a tolerance for your medication, and less of a all medication bad, although I've seen some people who are talking about how a specific medication affected them badly. It's just that it was less than just generally speaking about treatment resistant disorders. But I'm pretty sure if you read up on a lot of articles, you're going to find some articles that talk about how there are negative side effects, and then you probably would be more anxious about it. So I can see that fear if we're talking that the professionals they're specifically referring here to are psychiatrists. Antidepressants can completely change your personality, Chloe. It changes everything about you. How you act, how you feel, what you like or don't like, as well as some other side effects. It makes you numb to everything. Pain, to sadness, to joy. Yeah, I have read a few times that it happened to some people that it made them feel like zombies, but I've also read that it's not the case with everything, depending on the medication. So it's this difficult thing, like similar to therapy, you need to find the thing that's right for you, therapy-wise, or if you can find anything outside of therapy, because there are other options as well. But there are also different kinds of therapy you can try. And then the question is, do you have the money for all of this? Yeah. You just become empty. It's like you're better off not taking them. And I don't want to run the risk of not feeling anything anymore. I don't want to let anything change who I am. If I take them, I might not be the same girl you've always known. I I can't let that happen! So I have to put up with all this pain and suffering just to have a little fun with you. Then to me it's worth it. I want you to be happy, Chloe, and I know you want what's best for me. But I'd rather feel the full weight of my rain clouds barrel down on me than not feel anything at all. I mean, she did also say in Act 1 that the only time I'm not feeling nothing is when I'm feeling pain, so she probably is aware of feelings of emptiness. And that they can also suck. So if she's, like, concerned about what she's read about feeling like a zombie when you take them, or lacking generally the ability to feel. I've not really read anything on them changing your personality, but about the feelings of emptiness I've read about that. I can see why some people would be very opposed to that if they read a lot of people saying that. I've read more on people saying that they just don't work for them at all than on them having these side effects. But I'm not fully sure. I think it kind of depends on what you're looking for, because I wasn't really looking for anything. It just popped up and I was in the mood for reading these articles or sometimes Reddit posts. Yeah, Reddit isn't a very reliable source, but I found sometimes more people there relating to experiences that my friends and I had than on articles. And sometimes you couldn't find anything in articles that we were looking for, whereas you found them on Reddit posts. I know I trust my friends, so I trust that perhaps there are people at the same experiences and there just aren't really many articles about it. So sometimes I just also check up on these Reddit posts because, yeah, people can lie. But I'm also someone who usually is more inclined to tell the truth online. And I kind of want to believe it for some other people too. I'd rather trust the person saying something bad has happened to them and seeing if there's anything that you can do to support them rather than just immediately writing them off as that didn't happen at all. I did notice that with specific posts that were like, oh, this and this doesn't happen, and sometimes there were reasons why they believed it. For example, a new account and that's the only post they made, or some other things like that. There are sometimes hints that it just kind of feels weird, and so people aren't immediately jumping to trusting them. I'm also not advocating for you trusting everything you see online, just that I'm more prone to, especially when I see things that are posted from, not things that are saying, oh, we are the study that says this and this, without any proof, but if it's like personal experiences, crazy things happen out there, and I'm rather going to believe that there are people with crazy experiences out there than just telling someone who might have gone through it, or people who might have gone through something similar, that their experiences don't exist. At least that's how I kind of function. I also tell people in my real life. Sometimes I've noticed people gossiping about people around me. Or like, oh, they are just faking this and that. And sometimes I also kind of get the feeling, but I'd rather for the moment take their side in case it's actually happening, most likely. Because, especially in my youth, it was like, when something bad happened to me and I kind of shared it, or I was, for example, something physical, something sport-related, and I couldn't do something anymore, I have, sometimes I'm a person with, I quickly faint when I like get up quickly or move too quickly and everything, and sports is something where you move a lot, and so it's sometimes would happen that I feel like I'd faint. And it has happened before that I collapsed, and the teacher just told me that I was being over dramatic, and I kind of was sick the next day because I was still not doing well after collapsing, and my shoulder really hurt due to falling to the side. I'd rather believe someone is saying the truth when they say they're hurting and see if there's anything I can do to help than neglect someone the way that I've been neglected. And that also kind of carries on to online. I'd rather read something about people with extraordinary experiences, and maybe I won't say anything on it, especially if nothing really to say, but I'm not going to immediately jump to oh, that doesn't happen just because it's something that didn't happen to me, or it's something that sounds very extraordinary. It's just I'm not going to deny that there are people who had great experiences with therapy. It's just that we weren't lucky, and there are a lot of problems with saying it's the only way, especially with the things like money. Some people not being able to afford it. And my friends, especially some of them who had the worst possible things of worst possible experiences with therapists, they have the reasons for not wanting to go back and saying the only way to get better is to do exactly that exact thing again. It's not very helpful when there are different types of therapy, there are support groups, there are other means of finding help that you can use when you, for example, have less money or don't trust specific type of things, or found that, for example, simple talk therapy didn't work for you, EMDR therapy wasn't your thing, or something like that. There are many resources, and the problem is usually just with therapy that it's usually phrased as this ultimatum. Not that people go to it, I have suggested it to others before, because I think it's worth a try, and I think it should be available to everyone. It's just that if someone doesn't want to go, they don't want to go. End of it. And you know what, with medication I'd say it's similar. If you really think they would benefit it, it's always good to suggest it, but if they say no, then they say no. That doesn't mean they're not trying to get better, they probably just have a different reason. And maybe that reason is something like money, where there really is nothing you can do about it, especially in the case of money. I forgot what I wanted to say. Yeah. I just couldn't do that to you. I'd only be receiving your kindness, and I could never return it. At least with how I am now, I can. And since you know the truth, I can be honest with how I feel, especially around you. Completely stop in my tracks as I look at Sayori the same way a deer would look at headlights. I can't believe what I'm hearing. She'd rather put up with all this rather than take the chance at getting better? Oh god, what do I even say here? Sir stops walking as well, staring on at me as tears continue to build in her eyes. I just tried to stammer out something that makes sense. Sayori, look. I'm not going to pretend like I'm some expert doctor or whatever. Because I'm not. But look, dealing with your depression like this isn't healthy at all. I think we can both agree to that. But you never know what works unless you try it, right? The question is, how much does medication cost? Or like a psychiatrist visit in Japan, if this is in Japan. Because I think this could play a major role depending on how much money they have. If it is a possibility, then yeah, it's worth a try. I mean, I went to therapy. I was really excited to go to therapy. It's really disappointing that my impression ended up being as bad as it was. It wasn't even that bad at the beginning, it's just... when I found out that she was talking about the stuff behind my back, it wasn't that great. Especially since I only found out like 1 year later. Before I could say, huh, it didn't have a positive, it didn't have a negative effect on me, but after that I really felt betrayed. That really didn't feel nice. Like how you convinced me to join the literature club. And like earlier, how you convinced me to try out anchovy pizza for the first time. If you have the chance to get out of this constant cycle of feeling down and happy, you really should consider it. Yeah, he's doing the right thing. He's merely suggesting it, just trying it. Maybe you just need simple therapy or something. I don't know. What is simple therapy? I don't know. Due to me, my friend group being more on the going to therapy due to more trauma-related things, I've never really heard much about what it's like to go to therapy for depression only. I don't know how that... what therapy would even be... would it just be... what exactly would be the most efficient therapy there? I actually don't know that. I can only say on a few things of things related to trauma. I don't just want to say trauma therapy because it wasn't just trauma, but related to it. Because I know I can't be around you all the time to make you feel better. It's just not practical. And I know you say you feel better when you're around me. And I've really tried my best. I just don't know if I can be the only solution to this. That definitely not. She definitely needs a bigger support system. She definitely needs a bigger way, more things than just one person. That's for sure. We need to try something else. Trying is what you can do. You need to get better, Sayori. Well, what do you want me to do, Chloe? Believe me, if I could have wished the rain clouds away, I would have done it long ago. Don't really believe that just talking it out is going to make it better. I know those antidepressants are going to be the only way out of this. But it comes at the cost of all my feelings, not just the bad ones. From what I've read, it really does depend on the medication on and person. So I don't know. I don't know if I've just read different things and there are multiple articles discussing the side effect. Because I've had a lot of them talking about how that's not necessarily the truth. Whatever. And one of them was German too. Maybe it's brand-based, I don't know. But look, can you just promise me to at least think this over? Yeah, it's something you should think about. If you can try it, it's worth a try. If it sucks, then you can try something else. Maybe a different therapist or a different therapy or something completely else. But if you have the opportunity to try it, then it's a good thing to at least try it. And if you don't have the opportunity, then there are also other options. Because I don't know, I'm pretty sure medication costs something in, for example, America as well. Sarah stares off into the darkness as she mulls my request over. I know this isn't the first time she's thought about getting help, but maybe it's different now that I'm the one pushing for it. Well, you shouldn't just push for it, you should suggest it. And the person is still a person that ends up making their own decision. So then lets out a sigh. Alright, I'll think it over. Just no promises, okay? It would mean the world to me if you think long and hard about this. I know. You won't see me any differently if something happens, right? What do you mean? If I take them and something happens, you'll still see me as the same girl you grew up with, right? You'll still love me? Of course I still love you. Nothing's going to change that. If there was really a personality shift, then I feel like that would alter the relationship a little bit. At least it would add a hurdle. I love you, Chloe. But as far as I've read, it's really more the emotional things rather than the entire personality. I've never really read anything that's really saying the side effect is a change in personality. No. But that's the thing that she's concerned about. And if there really was a shift in the personality, then I feel like that would have, like I said, add some type of hurdle. And I feel like that is something important to add. That it's not going to be easy, but it can be worked through, so. I love you too, Sayori. Well, look, it's getting late, it is. I should just continue instead of continuing my rambles about things that I've talked about 200,000 times. We should probably start heading back. I offer my arm to Sayori, who giggles at my gesture. Aren't you such a gentleman? Only for you. Sarah smiles as she wraps herself around my arm. With Sayori secured, we begin walking back down the path we came, illuminated by the light poles scattered along the path and the stars above us. Walking back, I noticed several small animals scurrying around in the shadows, presumably looking for food. Not that recently. I actually was kind of terrified. I don't know why, though. I'm going camping this year. I should adjust this. I'm able to make out... And to the mosquitoes. I'm able to make out a few squirrels and rabbits, but it's hard to make out exact details with it being so dark by this point. Oh, okay. squirrels and rabbits are manageable. Strangely enough, Sayori doesn't really seem to notice them. I turned her and she's simply staring ahead with the biggest grin on her face, enjoying latching onto my arm. I simply smiled to myself as we continued to make the journey home with the sound of animals frolicking behind us. It was a mostly silent walk back. We occasionally made some small talk, but it just generally let Sayori enjoy the feeling of being close to me. Though I can't say I did enjoy being close to her like that either. I mean, that's what couples do, right? Sharing these kinds of moments with each other. Some aren't touchy, though. Though eventually, Sayori is forced to let go as we stop at our houses. "Oh, see you tomorrow, Chloe." Can still tell she's flustered over the walk back. Though I can feel my face is a little red as well. "Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Try to get some good sleep tonight, alright?" "I'll try my best. Hopefully telling Sayori about my dreams will ease them off of me for tonight. See you tomorrow." I take her into my arms and hug her tightly. I decide to throw in a peck on the cheek for good measure, which she seemed to enjoy as she giggled. Eventually we break our embrace and wave goodbye to each other as we head back to our respective houses. I watch Sayori disappear from sight, and I turn the key to open the door and head upstairs to my bedroom. After finishing my nightly routine and finish my any outstanding homework, I lay back in my bed and prepare to fall asleep. I don't think the nightmares are going to go away. All things considered, today was a pretty good day. Monica gave me some helpful advice regarding my situation, and had a pretty good time with Sayori. We actually went on our first date, real date since we've been officially together. It was nice though, and I'm glad I took her up on her offer to go out. In a way, it did help settle my feelings a little bit. I do truly love her, and I really wouldn't want to ruin it. And I'd say I've been pretty faithful to our relationship. Still, I have to figure out what to say to Natsuki. I don't really feel any closer to figuring out what to say to her, but I'll worry more about it tomorrow. I should try to get some good sleep for once. Hopefully I don't have another horrific dream. Shut my eyes as I uneasily drift off to sleep, praying for nothing to happen. "You just don't listen, do you?" Same familiar voice angrily screams, making my ears sting in agony. I tried to move to cover my ears, but my arms remained locked by my sides, forcing me to simply just wince in pain. Guess I stand corrected. "I just don't know what's with you. I don't understand why you continue to pursue the most hopeless of us all. Sayori is a lost cause. It's not worth spending your precious time and energy into someone like her. Sure, you might cheer her up for the time being, but she'll fall back into her same self-destructive mindset. You know how much she hates herself. Sayori would kill herself without a second thought, regardless how much love you give her. Do you really want a girl like that? She's not worth it. She truly is selfish. She admits it too. So why do you waste more time with her? Just to cheer her up for a few hours? The price of doing so is death. Shira finds out the truth about this place. She won't just be killing herself. She'll kill everyone, including you. It's time for her to see that." To be frank, in the quick ending, that is true. I'm immediately jolted awake. You know what? I can see Monica, but that means Monica knows the endings, right? Does Monica know the endings, or is she just making assumptions? If it turns out she knows the endings, she has seen already the end of Act 4 and everything, and this is now the Monica that comes back from Act 4, all not just out of character for Act 1, but completely out of character for, like, the entire character development god and everything. Phew. Well, those are some... That is going to impact a little bit of the final score. However, instead of finding myself lying on my bed, I find myself standing on the sidewalk by Sayori's house in school uniform. Maybe this is just a red herring, and it's kind of just referring to her that she kind of can guess what would happen. I kind of just hope that. I find myself standing inside with my... But Sayori's oddly enough in her pajamas, red-faced with tears streaming down her cheeks. What did I just find myself in? "So that's why I'm not coming to school, Chloe. I'm not really feeling like myself today." I blink a few times and look to confirm that I'm really outside. How the hell did I get here? I was just in bed. Granted, I was dealing with the voice tormenting me. I guess it just made me forget waking up and getting ready. No, I think this might just still be part of the dream. Did you get that, Chloe? I tried to go along with the situation. Yeah. Understand, Sayori. Everyone needs to take a day to themselves once in a while. I'm sure everyone will understand. Somehow I doubt that. They're just going to worry about me, Chloe. They don't know what I'm going through. I really don't want you to cover for me. I'd feel guilty for having you lie for me. Well, that's what a good boyfriend does, right? Yeah. You know, I'm surprised you're taking this so well. I thought you'd be offering to stay with me, given some of the things I just told you. She's got me in a trap here. How am I supposed to keep this up? I mean, I am worried about you. I always have been. But you wanted me to tell everyone that you're not feeling good, right? I didn't say that. Chloe, were you listening to anything I was saying? Of course I was. I can't believe I'm lying to Sayori's face in the middle of her meltdown. This isn't good. I'm just out of it, okay? You were completely fine this morning! You even told me that you were willing to meet up with me so early. I did? I look at my watch. 6:45. I then look up at the sky to see the sky just turn fully blue. I never get up this early in the school day. What the hell is happening? I turn back to face Sayori, who's now angrily staring me down. You weren't listening to anything I said. You ignored me! But you promised that you wouldn't! Sayori, I no need to apologize. I'm used to having everyone being ignorant about how I really feel inside. And how are you feeling on the inside? Like I want to die! Sayori-san yelling me jars me backwards. Sorry, that did. I've never heard her raise her voice in such a frightening tone. You don't really care about me. You're only dating me to fill your life with some sick pleasure, isn't it? Sorry, that's not true and you know it. I know that I've been failing you for all these years, been doing my best to make up for it. I know I need to do more, but I care about you. I always have and always will. You're just saying that to try to make me feel better. It won't work this time, Chloe. I think I've finally had enough with it all. What are you saying? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't want to ruin everyone's day. That would just be selfish. So lets out an uncomfortable laugh that only adds on to the already tense atmosphere. I'm sorry I dragged you out here for nothing. You won't have to worry about me anymore. I think I served my purpose. I can't keep you guys happy forever if I keep feeling hopeless. So the solution is obvious. Goodbye, Chloe. Before I can open my mouth, Sayori wordlessly walks back to her house. What the hell was that? Why was she jumping to conclusions like that? Did you really tell me something that important? How could I have missed that? Nothing about the situation feels right. Is Sayori really going to... Oh. No. She couldn't. I quickly went to Sayori's house, using the key under the mat to let myself in. I went up the stairs to Sayori's room, where it seems to be closed shut. I frantically knock on Sayori's door. Sayori? Are you in there? I knock on the door again. Sayori! I press my ear to the door to see if she's really in there. I can't hear anything. What the hell is she doing? Sayori, are you okay? Not waiting for her to answer, I throw open the door. I scream in horror and disgust as I fall back onto the floor in shock. Sayori! Sayori's gazeless eyes stare blankly at me as she slowly swings from side to side. It was too late. I completely fucked up! Tears from my eyes as I pound the floor screaming in anguish. Why did she do this? What happened? She hasn't been this bad since Sunday. What did I do wrong? Should have spent more time with her. Should have told her more how much she meant to me. No, I'm never going to get another chance. I curl up onto the floor and start sobbing. To my sobs, my mind tries to come up with some sort of scenario for how she could possibly be alive right now. Maybe I'm still dreaming. Maybe she's still alive. I quickly threw open Sayori's drawers. There has to be something to cut her down. Come on, come on, come on! It would make sense for her to still be alive. You... most likely... no, from this height, you wouldn't snap your neck. And if you somehow were able to faint quickly due to cutting off enough blood flow through your head, even though from personal experience that didn't change much. And I'm speaking from this time, not from anyone else's. This is my experience alone. But if you were to faint quickly, you wouldn't die immediately either, so you should be... you probably could still manage this. Through my frantic searching, I finally find the box cutter. This should do. I quickly run up to Sayori. I get stripped from under her feet, so her feet are resting along my shoulders. Stretch my arm as far as I can and start cutting away at the rope. Almost got it. Since the rope snaps, Sayori and I fall right onto the floor. Roll over to face Sayori, who's laying stiffly on the floor. I quickly loosen the noose as best as I can. Sayori? I gently shake her body a few times. Sayori? Can you hear me? She doesn't respond. No. Why would she do this? I try to check her pulse, but I don't feel anything. She can't be gone. Call an ambulance. No, she can't be. Tears are flooding down my face as I cradle Sayori's lifeless body in my arms. This is my fault. If I just paid more attention, if I just listened, then she wouldn't have snapped like this. I'm a failure. No. No, I'm not letting you die! I listen on the floor and begin CPR. Okay. Suddenly I begin to hear an ungodly groan emitting from Sayori's mouth. Sayori? Her eyes roll towards me. Just let me die! Sayori pushes me off of her, causing me to stumble back. She stands herself up, not breaking her menacing stare. Sayori? You're alive! Feelings of emotions course through me as I try to hug Sayori, but a stare stops me cold. Why did you come here? Why couldn't you let me rest in peace? Why do you continue to torment me by letting me live? Sayori? What are you talking about? I can excuse any weird thing that doesn't make sense here because you would not be able to do it that quickly. You would not be able, after having CPR done to you, to just move so swiftly, but I'm pretty sure this is a dream, so honestly, it's Monica's illusion. Anything can happen. I was worried about you. That's why I came here. I didn't want you to do what evidently you just did. So now you care, huh? After ignoring me for a year, you finally decide I'm worth your time. Nothing you've done can make me forgive you. Sayori, what the hell are you even talking about? I know I haven't been perfect, but nothing! You ignored me for an entire year! I was dealing with my soul splitting in two! Do you know how awful you've made me feel over this last year, Chloe? Awful enough to where I wanted to hang myself! And you made me do it! You pushed me beyond my breaking point! I know your affection for me was fake! Nothing is real! Existence is pain! She lets out a raspy, maniacal laugh. Slowly start backing my way to the exit. See that you need some time alone, Sayori. Oh, no! Sayori quiets her voice to an eerie whisper that I can barely hear. No, Chloe, don't leave. You said you wanted to spend time with me. No time like the present, right? I'm gonna be late to school. Forget school! They never taught us anything useful anyway. It's all an elaborate game, Chloe. You and this world have played me for so long, using my kindness to make you feel good about yourselves. But I figured out how to beat it. It was so easy. She completely lost it. I tried to outrun her, but Sayori would probably catch up to me long before I make it to school. I try to run her. If I can make it to the neighbor's house. How did you beat it, Sayori? At this point, I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure Sayori doesn't attack me. Do you really want to know? I don't think you care enough, Chloe. Considering how you let someone you've known forever just hang herself. I'm sorry, Sayori. Please tell me. Come over here then, and I'll tell you. I'm so racked with anxiety it feels like my heart's about to explode. My vision starts to become blurry as Sayori continues to stare me down. The more I stare back at her, the more lightheaded I feel. What's happening? I'm about to pass out now in a time like this. I don't feel so good, Sayori. Just tell me. Sayori giggles. Okay, here's how you beat the game, Chloe. Sayori pauses dramatically as I both anxiously eye her and the exit, trying to determine when I should try to book it. Kill yourself! What? Come again? Kill yourself! What the hell is she talking about? Kill yourself! Kill yourself! Kill yourself! Kill yourself! Kill yourself! Sayori starts repeating the same thing over and over again, growing louder each time. Start making movements to run for the exit. Sayori suddenly stops her chant and stares right at me. Kill yourself! Slowly open my eyes. Fortunately, I find myself back in my bed in the same bedroom I've had all along. However, I still feel unnerved from the whole experience. My heart is racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Warm sweat is crawling down my neck, and I feel the sense of dread, though I can't tell exactly tell from what. So I wipe my brow from the sweat. I notice light from outside starting to creep through the blinds. I turn my head to check my alarm clock. 5:30. I guess that was just a dream, huh? I loudly muse to myself. Just to be sure, I put my phone to check my text to see if Sayori texted me. To my relief, I haven't gotten any notifications since I went to sleep. I tried to prop myself up, but I feel a sudden rush of pain hit my forehead, instantly making me feel dizzy. I force myself to lay back down. My vision becomes blurry as I furiously blink several times in an effort to restore it back to normal. Well, at least I don't need to get up particularly soon. I would go back to sleep, but I'd rather not dream of being attacked by Sayori again. Simply stare at the ceiling through my hazy vision as I attempt to process my experience. These nightmares are just getting stranger. I don't see it stopping anytime soon, along with these side effects. If you can't even call them that. I guess this weekend I should try scheduling a doctor's visit about all this. Maybe I can bring Sayori with me too. Hopefully we can try to solve 2 problems at once that way, if she wants to go. I simply let out a sigh and stared at my ceiling, waiting for my headache to dissipate. As I try to pass the time before I need to get out of bed, it still hits me that I'm still nowhere close to deciding on what to say to Natsuki. Though I don't really expect her to talk to me given how yesterday went. I think I've settled on my feelings for Sayori at this point. I don't see a reason to break up with her. I should have expected to deal with this much drama when I decided to join an all-girls club. In retrospect, I guess I was kind of asking for it. I just didn't know how stressful it'd be. Well, I guess I'll try to solve one problem at a time. I guess I try to put in some more thought into my feelings about Natsuki. Maybe today it'll dawn on me. Suddenly, my alarm on my phone rings. I gingerly reach over to silence the alarm and proceed to drag myself out of bed and prepare for the day in front of me. Honestly, I should probably add a special warning for it because I know some people. The entire chant she had with the kill yourself. I know some people who it would bother, and I want to make sure I add that type of special trigger warning when I make my little trigger warning list, because just in case someone checks the trigger warnings and is perhaps not in the best space to hear me scream, "Kill yourself!" into your ear. Yeah, I think I read that. If not, it was on the screen for a bit of time now. Fortunately, it seems that my body has recovered from the ordeal. We're pretty much back to normal. But something continues to nag me in the back of my mind. Maybe if I ignore it, it'll go away. Let's get this over with. I mutter to myself as I begin my morning routine. I end up getting ready a few minutes earlier than I normally do, so decide to take the time to wait outside for Sayori. Leaning against the lamppost, I reflect on the last night's dreams, and I try to make sense of what it's been saying. I understand why I'm supposedly not allowed to spend time with Sayori, because well, to be frank, Monica in character, Monica in Act 1 would do that too. Not exactly this way, I mean, but not want you to spend time with Sayori. That's clear. But I feel like a lot of these things are at this point generally just spiraling out of Monica's character, as I've mentioned, and if my theory is correct and she does remember other endings, well then that's a big problem in my Monica characterization book. Right now it's just a bad problem, but that's a big bad problem. I'm a person with free will. I can choose who I want to spend my time with freely. But I don't understand how this voice can be jealous of me spending time with Sayori. I love how he's already kind of assuming that this voice is something actually real. Because honestly, I've had dreams, not exactly of this type of caliber, but with specific voice. I sound kind of strange there, don't I? It's been a few years since then, okay? Where I've heard some type of voices speaking about things that didn't really make sense. And in the end, they didn't make sense because they were dreams. How this voice could just be a dream voice. He's already assuming something paranormal. But I mean, at some point you would just start having weird theories because this is not the normal thing. Unless my subconscious is trying to tell me something, yeah, that's what I would assume. Just not necessarily that it means that Sayori is actually bad, just more something weird, like some type of fear it could try to convey. Like maybe some type of angry voice, when in reality it's not directed at Sayori, it's at myself for the inability to do something. I'd probably end up interpreting it like that. Hey, Chloe! I look up to see Sayori already standing in front of me. Oh, hey! Didn't see you there. Ready for school? I try to sound as energetic as possible, but Sayori's able to see it through my facade pretty easily. Chloe, did you have another bad dream last night? I simply nod my head in disappointment. I don't really want to talk about it right now. Chloe. Sayori suddenly steps forward and brings me into an embrace. I slowly reciprocate, feeling the warmth of Sayori's body radiating onto me. Despite the traumatic experience of last night, I already feel somewhat better. I'm sorry you're having nightmares again. I just wish there was something I could do to help. You can't, and I don't know what will, to be honest. Soon I break our embrace, her warmth quickly being brushed off by the cool morning breeze. I have considered seeing my doctor about this. My doctor? Maybe there's a medical explanation for it. So like a medical doctor explanation. Well, just do whatever you need to, Chloe. I'll support you. Well, I guess now would be a good time to bring up my idea for Sayori. I'd like for you to come with me. Sayori eyes me suspiciously. Huh? How come? Not that I'm opposed to going with you or anything, but I thought it wasn't that bad. It's not about that. It's about your rain clouds. Remember the idea that I brought up with you last night? Can you just... I mean, you could probably bring it up with a medical doctor. And then they could recommend you to someone. Yeah? It would mean a lot to me if we both tried to solve our problems together. I know you want me to get better and well. I'd like to be able to return that favor somehow. Sarah uncomfortably gazes off into the distance. Still thinking it over, Chloe. Still don't quite understand Sarah's reluctance to getting help, but given that this is a pretty big deal for her, I need to try to be as patient as possible. Because sometimes, for example, if I would just. If your only real source of what therapy is like would be from me and my friends, and you would only see rare, only rare posts of how good it would be, you would not just be discouraged because you might not have money, but because you might genuinely believe that it's just bad. On that topic, two experiences that weren't bad. They were just neutral, nothing bad, nothing good. And two experiences, one, I don't know how to rate it, very good. Very good experience is a very different one. That's the only one that's really not related to any type of trauma-related things that they went to therapy for in the first place. But what they went through, that their therapist was very nice, and it seems to be working out well for them. So I can give a positive feedback, and I can give a relatively positive one to one that is at least already has more patience and already seems to be working better with the struggle that friend is going through. That person, that random stranger there. It's not really so much progress, but it's already some place where my friend actually feels safe. It's not one of those with this worst of it all, but it's someone who had bad experiences already twice. But it seems that three times the charm in this case. Maybe we'll see. I'm holding out to it because then I can talk more about positive things about therapy. Because usually I just end up talking about the negative things because I can't speak anything positive about my experiences. But if that goes well, then I can talk more positive too. I like that idea. The other friend with their therapist is just a bit difficult to bring up because it's a very different situation. Uh, yeah. Wanted to say something, but no, that's not necessary. But it's just if Sayori really read a lot on that here medication sucks, and this is the thing she heard of the most, the more inclined she is to say that that's not something she wants to do because of the side effects. If you only get our resources, if you don't look up a lot on therapy and everything, and you just go to us and you hear what we talk about, and in even more detail, then your opinion of therapy would end up being very low too, of both EMDR and normal talk therapy. Of therapy groups, not as much in support groups, but that's the problem again with people being different individuals. Um, which is that I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh no, that right. I've also seen people say that support groups and therapy groups didn't work for them. It worked great for me. It's the best thing for my friends, as in things that work that kind of have professional people sometimes in there in these groups. But that also doesn't work for everyone. Because sometimes you end up in groups where you don't feel comfortable, or it's just not the right thing for you to talk in such an open space, especially when you feel like maybe the experiences of the others are different from yours or more severe from yours and things like of such nature. Because I've heard some things about that and that you just didn't feel comfortable in that environment. You need to find what's right for you. So while I could, if your opinion would end up being great of, like when you were around us, your opinion could, your opinion of support groups and therapy groups could end up being very high. If you went to one, you might still figure out it's not for you, and the other way around, it's also the same. And okay. But yeah, if you usually hear negative things about it, which is why I hope you don't just listen to me, because I can, for now, only speak more on more negative things. I'm never going to change my mind that it shouldn't be handled as the ultimatum, because there are other things out there that can help you. And if someone really doesn't want to go to therapy, then that doesn't mean anything about them as a person necessarily. It could just be that they had like, experiences and everything. But I forgot what I was saying. Oh no, I forgot what I was saying. I hope you also hear some. Yeah, what I was talking about, I'm never going to be fond of it being just the ultimatum. I might just generally warm up about it being more. But I might. What? I might warm up to a bit more, but I'm never going to be comfortable considering it the end all be all. That's the only way. That's all you can do, and if you don't do it, you're not trying hard enough. I'm never going to ever share that opinion with anyone ever. That never. And I'm almost certain of that, at least. Maybe it will change, but I doubt it given the amount of things that are piling up here. But I hope I can sometimes speak more positively whenever therapy comes up in mods, the more experiences we kind of gather. It's just that some of us are really not willing to try again, but those who want to try again, or like the one who is trying again, anyway, if there are some positive things about that, then I'd be happy to also kind of mention that more frequently. Because I don't believe that the majority of therapists is evil. One of my friends is kind of working to become one, even though he didn't have the greatest experiences either with it. But I know him, and I know he really just wants to help, and so I know that there are definitely therapists out there who want to help and who definitely can help people. It's okay, it's not like I'm heading there after school or anything. Don't feel rushed. Sir flashes me a weak smile. Come on, let's get going. Yeah, let's just move on. Without another word said, Sir and I begin our daily commute to school.